conduct a session for the Hawaiian Kingdom as the Hawaiian Kingdoms get stood up. Um, in the future, you'll see others that will actually run this, but as an example, we'll be recording this meeting live and streaming it on most of the different channels that can be recorded. If you'd like to understand what future meetings or past meetings have happened, you can go to hawaiian.live and click on councils and then go to whichever council you'd like to see. In this particular case, it's the governing council. And you can see past meetings and then the meeting location. So it's open to anyone. If you'd like to join via this meeting location, you just click on this URL and you'll basically come into an environment kind of like this, where lots of people are engaged. And then from there, we actually have dialogue based upon an agenda that has been preset for each one of those meetings. And people can add or remove things dynamically from this agenda and then also vote dynamically from this agenda as well. So it's not just topics, but it's also being able to vote on particular things. And if you'd like, we can go through examples of how voting works, but that's the value of really standing up a system like the Hawaiian Kingdom's doing with decentralized technology where the individual has a voice and it's cryptographically proven. So fraud is really stamped out of the system and it's transparent and honest. So with that being said, we'll just kind of go through the agenda as to what's on the topic, and then we'll do some introductions and an invocation, and then we'll just get started based upon what people actually want to focus in on. So on the agenda today are as follows, and I'll just kind of start from adding and removing councils. This is something where everyone can be involved. So currently the councils that are there are general, brand, and finance councils. So they can be removed, or you can add additional ones, and then people can choose to self-select to be a part of those. And then they have a weekly or monthly cadence meeting that goes along with that. This particular meeting is a weekly cadence meeting. Starts at, I want to say 4 o'clock Hawaiian time every Tuesday. So the next thing will be kind of an updated branding ecosystem. As my world has not been historically within the Hawaiian Kingdom, I'm learning a lot. For instance, this last week, we spent a lot of time at the archives within the Hawaiian Kingdom, and my mind was just blown based upon how advanced the culture really was. And it underscores, in my opinion, why this culture, this kingdom, has the right not only be independent, but to actually lead humanity in many different realms around what's right, primarily because of aloha and love. And so with that being said, we'll spend a little bit of time there. There's a couple topics that were wanted to be added around landfills. Some of the core stuff that we're focused in on is around declarations, around modification and improvement of amendments of Constitution, which we need a body to actually be able to modify any of that. So I don't know that we've got enough of it today. And then any kind of the invites and treaty timelines, those are well underway. We've got 13 of those out. So Lana Kia will guide us in that, kind of an update there. And then Kamanu on any of the alien nations and native laws around how that will actually work. And we've already spent probably 2 hours on that particular one, but anyone can actually go to this same page and click on, if you want, I'll put this in the notes as well for those that are online. So you can go here and you can actually click on any of these blue links and you can go to the actual active document or site that's behind it in real time. So with that being said, I would just throw out there, anyone wants to focus on a prayer? Who would like to start today's meeting with a prayer? I mean, we need to start the meeting with the prayer. Who would like to give the prayer, I guess, is probably the right way to say it.
Or if no one will join out, I can go ahead and pray.
Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful time that we have come together to meet as a nation to discuss important topics pertaining to our nation. And we pray for thy spirit to be with us and that we may all be able to be as one, unified, and to be open-minded to things that we might not be open to, but that we pray that it'll be your will and not our will. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Say amen. Amen. Awesome.
I don't know about you, but we could end the meeting right there.
Man.
Wow. I look forward to getting to know you over the years. You're a powerful man. Maybe we could go around and just do general introductions. Who's here and maybe names and what you focus on or what you'd like to bring or add or maybe we start with Calvin. Are you able to unmute there? Maybe we do it with
No, I got you, Mr. Proper.
Okay.
So I'm Calvin Nee. I lead the foundation's R&D platform, which covers a broad area of interests. Mostly the focus is going to be upfront on assessing environmental conditions and specifically damages having occurred for occupation to the land, sea, and air. And I'll also be assisting Greg Brundon in the ocean cleanup project.
Wonderful.
It dovetails into that.
Wonderful.
And so currently I'm living in Denver, but I hope not to be soon, to be quite frank. It's a privilege to be a part of this group. And I'm grateful to all the effort, especially in the aftermath of the fire. I mean, I don't know. You guys have done so much, Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Calvin. Charles?
Hello, my name is Charles Kyoho from Maui. It's been interesting watching the journey of this canoes come together. And I'm just, I guess I'm a yako. I just, between two canoes and trying to tie it together and moving forward so that we can speed fast, go faster and move faster. Mahalo, Kaulia. It's going to be fun.
And I can honestly say we probably wouldn't be here without Charles, to be honest with you. But that's a whole nother conversation. Don? Don, do you want to come off mute? Is now a good time for you? I do know that he was transporting from work right about now, so we'll come back to him. Don, if you can hear us, you're just on mute still, but we'll come back to you. It's key for you to be able to announce yourself. Same thing, to learn about the work that you've been doing is just phenomenal. And I think it's going to catapult this like we could have never imagined. So, Earl?
How's it? Aloha from Kau, the island Moko of Keawe. Nice to hear your voice, Michael, and nice to be part of this. So, I just like listen and be intrigued with it. So, so my focus is more. I'm a practitioner, a cow. So I love to, rock on temples and hells. That is my whole prerogative. And I'm a kopunas in Kau. So it's all good, and let's move forward and hold more.
Wonderful. It's good to have your spirit here, Earl. Nice to meet you.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
Likewise. Greg? Greg, do you want to come off mute? Hannah Lay, do you want to go next?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
No, Hannah Lay.
Okay.
Do you want to pronounce your name? Hannah Lay?
Hanale.
I was doing a text.
So how's it?
I put it out.
Can you hear me? Oh, there.
Yeah, we'll go back to you. till you're done?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Anybody can hear me?
You're
It's
live and
on.
you're live and
Can
loud.
hear you.
You're front and center,
All
brother.
right. Shall we sing a song?
Yeah, go for it. I've actually been listening to your songs all day.
So, well, Michael is taking care of things. For those who don't know me, my name is Donald Colia, so we can kind of introduce everybody who's on here. It's my first time on this network. And so I represent the Kingdom of Lakua, and that's us in Lahaina, the food security. Okay, next. At least we get to know who's on here.
Yeah, exactly. So next, I think, go ahead, Hanalea.
Come on, guys,
Hello,
the
everybody.
ladies. Hi, Lanakila.
Aloha.
Just introduce yourselves.
Hanale, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hanale Koliaro, Maui Island. Take care of food, farm production. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aliai Moku Tassel.
Go ahead,
All right.
Hanalea.
So we have Kelvin Ni'i. He's at the Core Foundation. We got Charles, who introduced me to with Lanakila last week. Introduced me to Michael. What else we got on here?
We've got Roger.
Kalani Tassel, who's our chief for the island of Maui County. Greg Grandin, also with our entity, takes care of ocean cleanup. And then Kelvin takes care of the research development. Then we got Kauhanale has always been in the forefront from his Omana farms. We were taking care of the 7 hubs, food distribution out of his farm, all the protein that was cattle and pork. We got Ioane Kolia. Ken Nakagawa was on our team also. And then I think that's it. Did I miss anybody from our core foundation?
It looks like that's all that's online.
Right.
Looks like maybe Marshall was one that we didn't get an introduction from. Marshall, do you want to give us an introduction? Marshall, can you hear us okay? Lanakia, do you want to give
I'm
us? Go ahead.
I'm gonna check and see if he can hear. I'll text him. Because he got booted out earlier and he just got back. Okay, so I'm Lana Kila. I'm originally from Molokai. I live on Maui now, but Molokai is my home. I met Michael through Kamaunu Kahaiali'i, and Charles. Kamaunu's not here today. Kamaunu and I are working with a group in Hilo. We have a Kupuna group there, which Marshall and Uncle Earl belong to. We also have a Makua group there. We formed a coalition. And our main mission, I think we all have the same vision. We want to see our country back in the rightful hands of the Kanaka Maoli and being managed for us, by us. So what we're doing is we none of us want to be a king, a queen. We don't think there should be a king, queen, prime minister, or anything at this point. We believe that should come from the people. And so our goal is to set up the foundational systems for the people to be able to do that, so that they can have a referendum on the Constitution, and then that will create the structure of the government that the people desire. Then they can have an election, and then we're just walking them through the door, and then we're done. The Makua may want to continue to work and take a position in the government, but the Kupuna have agreed that, I mean, most of us have been doing this I've been doing it since I'm 17. I'm 67 now. I just want it done, and I want to go home and be in my yard. So we looked at what Michael has to offer. We recognized what a benefit it could be to us. It was a little bit of a struggle for a little while there because we didn't really, or at least I didn't really understand what he was offering, and I felt like he was trying to do what the typical white person does when they come here, tell us what to do, how to do it, and what we have to do. But no, I feel that he is genuine in what he's bringing. We figured out that he didn't know enough of our history, and he was willing to take the time to learn that. And I know he has a lot more to learn, and he knows that too. But he got the basic down now, so he understands why we are so passionate about our government and certain issues within that. And so I'm hoping that this will continue to work to bring people from different organizations, different, everybody has a different path of getting to the same place. So hopefully this is a way for all the paths to merge and then begin to move forward together. That's me and my people.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Anybody else that wants to do an introduction that hasn't had a chance? Maybe Sonny or Marshall. I know that he came in and out. I know Marshall's from the Big Island. Roger, I think you've had an introduction, yeah?
Yeah, but I just introduced myself.
Go for it.
Roger Maderas. I live in Waianae. We've been here for several generations, and I know everybody has something great to bring to the table, and I just share that during the process, we need to remember that we're gonna go through growing pains and just be patient with some people that maybe doesn't run the same speed as others, or seem like they get distracted or whatever. Everybody bring different talents, different knowledge, and sometimes it's something that looks a little different. How people put up a house doesn't mean they cannot build a house, because they take a slightly different route or different design. But just be patient, and I believe we share the same passion, is to go back to our righteous nation and be free people and enjoy our families more so than fighting to just get the nation back. It's all about family, our ohana, and being able to thrive with each other rather than always fighting fighting to get something back. Yeah. But just thank you guys. Oh, and how do I go back to the home screen? I can't get the home screen back.
Home screen
Oh, that's it.
within the sharing. So down at your bottom, you're going to have some navigation buttons. And if you just click
Bottom right.
the bottom center, it depends if you're on what device you're on. If it's
Oh, my phone.
Yeah,
I found it on the bottom right.
So on your phone, there's actually an app that you can download, but it's recommended to probably be on a PC, or if you're going to do it on the phone, to use the app, because then it's a lot less clunky. You can easily
I'll do that later then.
Yeah.
It just has all the split of everybody, but earlier it had like a primary screen on home screen, and then it changed.
Yeah,
but it keeps going back to the group.
We'll go back to that primary screen here. We're sharing just through introduction. So, Sony, is there anything you want to review or discuss? You're live. Is it Sonny? Go ahead, sir.
Sonny, you're muted.
There you are. Go for it. We can hear you okay. You want to introduce yourself? We can come back to you if you'd like. Earl, anything you want to say before we get started? Introduction at all?
I'm fine. I just wants to hear how is this quantum thing going to happen. So
All right. Well,
it's all good. Let's move forward. All more.
sounds great. Well, we'll jump into that. Sonny, you just tell us if you want to change your mind. And here we're jumping back over here. So this, for those of you that can see the screen, and we're also sharing live, what we're going to do is just focus in on this agenda here. And if you want to add things to it, you literally just, you join a council by scanning. So let's go back here real fast. So you can kind of see the council here. If someone wants to download Hawaiian Life, and then they just scan this QR code, and then they get added as a member. Okay. And then a member can basically help the process to actually create the motions that then create votes for everyone that wants to be involved. And then the motions tied to the agenda like this. So we'd have a particular topic, and then you can see that there's a voting process. There's a date when this actually ends, which we should be showing so that people know, hey, this is under vote, people can access it. And to be able to vote, for instance, I love this Declaration of Unity in a massive way. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is actually, this is an Apple phone, this is the first time we do this type of stuff on an Apple device. But we're currently in a testing phase of scanning. So I can actually use the scanning process. It approved on my phone and then approved here. And then you won't see much change there because there's no decline there. But if you want to kind of understand a baseline, and I'll jump off of the introductions and invocation section and jump up to just this review here. This is the basis. I'm getting some feedback somewhere. It might be Earl, but we'll see. Testing. Yeah, so we're just going to mute you here real fast, Earl. See if that solves it. Testing. No. Testing. Well, I guess I'll just have to refer. So this Declaration of Unity is a very important document. And it kind of gives you the baseline of why the digital world is here, and then why the technology for the Hawaiian Kingdom is here. So if you want to take the time to understand this, that would be greatly appreciated. And I'll go ahead and put this URL within whatever somebody just did. It totally fixed it. So thank you. So this is a URL that basically goes to this declaration. So very important document. If you have the time, please review it. And there's actually a physical banner that folks can sign if they physically want to sign, but you can cryptographically sign this as well. So he follows the same process, so to speak. So jumping back over to the agenda. I'll try and figure out where the noise is coming from. Lanakia, go ahead. I think you have to come off of mute. Are you able to unmute, Lanakia? Lanakia? Are you able to, Lanakia, are you able to unmute?
My husband wishes he had that button.
Right.
I can't. Are you sharing your screen with us? Because I can't see it.
Yeah, here I'm sharing it online. I'll share it right here as well. So yeah, I thank you for the reminder.
Okay, yeah, I got it now.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. So this is basically the meeting and the agenda. And for those that were online, they would have struggled to just see it. But I'll go through it real fast, real quick. I think we've got. I'm going to try and figure out where. Getting some feedback, something fierce, but if you want to join a council or if you want to vote, this is basically the process that you would follow to vote. So you can kind of see here if you disagree with something, you basically scan it, and then it casts that vote in real time. So, and the way to scan it is you basically just download Hawaiian Life or Hawaiian Wallet on an Android-based phone, or there's an Apple-based version that's currently in beta. If you like to get on a wait list, you can do so to be able to do that. So jumping back over. So this agenda here, we're completed with this. Without Kamanu here, reviewing the alien laws isn't going to happen. Lanakia, do you want to give us a review of any of the invites as it were?
Yeah, we sent those letters out about 2.5 weeks ago, so I'm thinking we probably won't hear anything back, possibly late this month, but I don't think till after the New Year's. And basically what we did was we asked them to just recognize our right to do what we're doing and possibly begin talking about reactivating those treaties. And we just keep every week sending out to a few more countries until we have covered everybody that we need to. Because we need that, we have everything else. We just need that recognition from other countries to be able to move forward with a lot of things. So it's an ongoing project that the kupunas are doing to support our people, yeah.
And so this basically ties to this timeline that goes all the way back to 1846, 126 years ago, where...
Oh, we did not send anything to the Swiss Confederation, and we did not send anything to the postal conventions.
Okay, so this one here.
Yeah, that one we didn't do.
So, but it's huge because, and you can, for those that are not aware, you can actually click on under governance. You can click, or under, let's see, yeah, under governance, you just basically come into this timeline that has hyperlinks that actually goes to each one of the documents of the historical recognition. For instance, like Russia or Japan, you can see this is Portugal, this is Samoa, Japan. And so the letters that Lanakia is talking about is updating these documents. And so we hope to be able to receive those back and then give an update to this body as it matures with the re-invites. So anything else you want to discuss on that, Lanakia?
I think that's good. Unless anybody has some questions.
I just would say thank you for doing it. Moving on to this, which we actually had a good chunk of time set aside for, but without Kamanu here, it's probably inappropriate for us to even start this. It is inappropriate. So, but this, again, the hyperlinks link to a document. This is a document that you can see historically has had articles, and we've been through 0 down to 13. And so once they're all done, then a revision would be posted, and then people would vote on that if they agreed with it, if they didn't agree with it. So it's basically, go ahead, Lanakia.
I just want to say, actually, I did this draft, not Kamanu. He was walking us through the citizenship, and all we did was, you're explaining it, but I just wanted to make that correction in case anybody
Yeah, you're right.
had a question about it, or because this is kind of a,
kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal, yeah.
Like a massive deal.
And just so everybody understands that we are not pushing these changes. They're just changes that we thought were appropriate to bring the 1846 Constitution up to date, and the people will vote on it. If they like it, they don't like it. And, because that's what it's about, is letting the people move this, right? So I think, Michael, at some point it'll be posted on the site somewhere where people can actually vote on it.
Yeah, when it's done with the editing form, you'll have kind of the before and the after and any of the changes, and people can literally see it. And then we provide a lot of time, so a lot of feedback, a lot of interventions, because this is not something that can just be modified. But there are some updates, but we want to make sure that there's the support there. And I don't have the right to even bring this up or even dig into it. So there's others that need to guide that and lead that. So the next topic would be, aliens is going to be the same thing. Dawn, do you want to discuss anything around the landfill or anything around, well, we could watch this little video here and then we can come into this topic. So I don't know if you're able to hear that or if you've watched this before, but he does a really good review of basically where they're planning to actually dump toxic waste and debris. So Dawn, I know that this was something that you wanted to discuss and go over. Do you want to lead a discussion here? Dawn, are you able to unmute? Anybody else in this category? I know there's other people on the call that understand disasters and planning and kind of the passion behind this particular topic. I personally have been to this area, and I've also been on the way to Kula. There's another on the back roads to Kula. There's another dump location which they've already done a lot of waste, and maybe there's just too much waste there. But and I really don't have any kind of understanding of it anyhow. So, but anybody want to provide feedback on this particular topic, on why it was added to the agenda, or felt that it was an important topic? Dawn, are you with us? Dawn, go ahead. We can hear you now. Dawn? Dawn, we can hear that you're unmuted on your car there. Was it Calvin that works with Dawn on the ocean and cleanup? And I don't know if you're related to this topic. Dawn, can you hear us okay? We'll go ahead and Looks like we lost him. We'll go back to the agenda real fast. So without having Kamanu on this topic, and for those that have not seen, we'll jump back over to this. This is the aliens topic. There's a lot of review and modifications, not necessarily modifications, but at least understanding that has to go into before this basically gets ratified.
Hey, Mike can't hear anything if anybody's talking.
Charles, you can't hear me? Apologize. Don, did you want to go through the mapping or maybe review some of the topics around this debris here, the topic waste? I don't know if you, we'll go ahead and start this over. Is Don with us? Do you know? I'll go ahead and just let this go ahead and play if you didn't hear it before. So this basically goes through a proposed, or at least a landfill that's already being created, a permanent and physical or temporary one that's currently going in. So we'll wait for Don to come back, but I know this is a topic that he wanted to actually go through and address. So. So I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see this video. I'll go ahead and put the link inside of the chat sessions, but I know that Don wanted to add this to the topic. So we'll go ahead and provide anybody that is relatively aware of this topic, any feedback or discussion you want to have on this. So again, this is around toxic landfill, temporary as well as permanent facility that someone asked for this to be added to the agenda. If you didn't hear me earlier, I've actually been to this particular one, at least to the road in front of it, and also know that about 20 miles away or 20 minutes away, there's a back road to Kula that also has another landfill that's already been in use. I don't know what the water runoff is around that, but I'm sure there's a lot of reasons and hopefully a lot of documentation that goes into it. But go ahead.
There's actually a buried landfill there. There used to be for years there was a dump site there for the West Side people, and they finally shut it down. I think maybe a little over 10 years ago. So it's covered up, but it's in the front. It's actually really close to the highway.
Yeah.
But you can't tell because they covered it up. They made it look nice, covered it with grass.
Yeah. Well, I know this isn't a direct related to some of the stuff we're trying to get done as a council, but I do believe that if someone wants to go ahead.
Michael, this is Sonny.
Hi, Sonny.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
We got you, buddy. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Regarding that landfill, I know down here, on the west side, Roger, that PVT, they came up with a bill. The city council came up with a bill that the head of the city council drew it up for 1 mile radius around PVT, they was gonna give them some kind of exemption, but some of the people in the neighborhood board shut it down because starting from Honokai Hollywood, the Kipapa landfill there, PVT, and all the way down in Waianae had own landfill. They trying to get the whole thing because I don't know if you guys know, Uncle George's wife had cancer, and this bill was made for people around that 1 mile radius, but they're trying to get everybody that on the west side from Honokai Holly all the way to Waianae because they had 3 landfills down there. And that's one of the topics we all got to think about because in the past, they buried a lot of toxic stuff up over there and, you know, people getting sick. So, you know, we all got to kind of like, let's brainstorm this because people get cancer. A lot of people they get cancer that live in that area. So I know that for sure, but they came up with a bill. It was voted down because they're trying to rewrite the bill for everybody that lives on that site, that coastline where Kipapa, PVT, and also the people in Waianae. So yeah, we got to really think about this kind of stuff that's happening.
Forgive me, everybody, but because we're on different islands, if you would be so kind, because we those that know each other, but the rest of us don't know. Like, what is PVT? I've been to Waianae, my brother lives there, but what is PVT? I'm on Maui. Sunny, I guess you in Honolulu. So what is PVT?
PVT, they dump all the construction and a lot of the demolition trash over there. And back in the day, they never say nothing too much about it, but they also they did the demo up in UH. They dumped a lot of stuff back there that they try to cover it up. And now people that live in that area, they did a study and a lot of people get cancer. So that's why I think Tommy Waters wrote the bill, but the bill never get passed because a lot of them were saying, hey, there's 3 dump sites down this side of the island. Now, you guys, the dust can fly all over the place, you know? So they were trying to rewrite the bill regarding being tax exempt and stuff like that for a mile radius, but they tried to get everyone to, you know, because only that study is for people around that area. A lot of people got cancer. That's why I brought up this topic.
It's a very important topic. Do we want to have some form of action behind it or some type of a alignment where we
Kelvin, maybe Kelvin can answer some of the stuff, but you know,
No,
I've
it's
been
too
looking
early.
it up.
It's too early. I'm sorry. Just jump in, but
yeah.
So Don and I have been going around on this for the last few days. And, you know, the only accessible, like a primary document, like, you know, the actual information about how they pick the site, that's like, that information is the only one available. So like the state had to, the DLNR had to publish, you know, they intended, what they intend to use this area for, what the area is, and that's visible. But everything else about this currently is invisible. You know, it's just not available publicly. So can't really comment unless, you know, you're familiar with how the process of establishing a landfill. And people like that, and we could talk to people like that. But just looking around, there's no specific information beyond they agreed to set aside the land. And it hasn't, I don't know if that means if that's how far it's gone, but that's, you know, that's the only information that anyone can see publicly. So, you know, if you want to bring in the transparency angle. You think this is a process that's going to be 100% transparent given the context of the whole thing and the concern for public safety. I mean, there's a whole laundry list, right, of concerns people would have. Well, it's too early.
I think
It's
there's
just-
a real problem. I think for me, the problem is bigger than the site. The problem is, one, you told us you weren't going to do it. Two, you told us what you were going to do. Three, the kupuna did not say that, so you're lying to us. I don't think we need to. I mean, yes, I understand looking at all those things, but I think even without that, we can begin to say to the county and the state and whoever else, look, you need to come into this community and really talk to people, because you didn't do that and you're not keeping your word. I mean, because they already said what they were going to do originally, and that was to take it to the mainland. But now I guess maybe they think it costs too much money, they don't want to spend the money on it, whatever. But you already gave the community your word that that's what you were going to do. And then you changed it without talking to the community, and now you're trying to pin it on the kupuna. That is a'alipono, no matter how you look at it. And I think that needs to be brought and thrown in their face as big and loud as possible. And it just stops everything else.
It's unfortunate, but that's business as usual for them, right?
But it doesn't have to be business as usual for us.
I realize that, but that's. I mean, in some ways, you'll have to give them that feedback over and over, because that is not the history of it, right? Unfortunately, that is not the history of how this, whatever you want to say, government at large, especially in that state, in that state, gotta work on that.
Actually, when you, especially in this situation, when enough pressure is applied, they will change and fix it. There's already a federal investigation into the fire. They are not going to cause a bigger scene and draw more attention, attract more attention to this situation. There was just an article in some newspaper today about the security detail for Beeson. I mean, who even knew he had that? I didn't until I read about it today. That's being questioned. I mean, so I think, that was the whole point of this video, was that the kupuna never said to do this. You're using our people again to further your agenda. I think that needs to be addressed by us, by us, the kupuna and the mo'opunas, But that's just my thought.
Roger, you good?
Yeah.
You live close by. What is your thoughts regarding,
Well, about the dumps over here in Waianae, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Maui on the addressing the small one pressing issue. What need to be, whether there is on federal or not on federal, on state investigation, whatever may be. I think there's need to be more people that have boots on the ground that doing their own investigation, because can we rely on them, the federal? Are they still there? They're moving out. You know what I mean? Like, we need to have people that we can trust, boots on the ground, gather quite a bit information, need more information before we even make a decision on anything. That was just on video. I mean, I honestly thought somebody had a little bit more solid information, and I don't trust them, just so you guys know where I stand. I don't trust the state or the federal until they start learning to see their pattern change. Then I can say I can start to trust. but we do need facts to make decisions about anything. And in the past, it was never good about showing us what they do. Just like how Kelvin said, you know, that their past practice is what it is. They're going to do what they're going to do. And boil down to money, yeah. They're going to look for an easy route. But the sad thing is that place is not equipped. Normally what they do now, I've seen in the dumps, they do line it, but it still doesn't mean that they can accept all types of material. They line the dumps, but they only started to do that, I say recently, maybe in the past 20 years or what. But they didn't line it before. All the dumps in Waianae, from Waianae Valley dump to that PVT that is up in Nanakuli Valley or Lualua Valley, whatever you want to call it. And then you have that other one that is across Colina in Kipapa Gulch. It's called that particular gulch. And then prior to that, one back, I guess back in the 60s, was right there on the corner of Makakilo Mountain, on the bottom part of Poliho Ridge. That one, who knows what's inside of there. And definitely they never line them. I remember going over there as a little kid, and towards the end of it, and the thing went stacked very high all the way to the top of the mountain. They get that thing covered up. But just because they cover them and put whatever on top doesn't make it okay. It's a lot of places where water and whatnot go leach through. I mean, through their past experience, they're bad stewards of the land, the federal and the state. So we need people that are willing to go inside and collect the facts that we can act, you know, more of a better informed decision to act upon it. Thank you.
Yeah, being proactive instead of reactive. That's the thing.
Yes.
That we gotta stand up, because we all doing this not for us, for grandchildren and for the next generations to come. And we can already see what's happening, because people are on PVT sick, cancer. That's why Uncle George Harris had Tommy Waters write up the bill, but it got shut down because, hey, not only a mile, you got to think about from where Roger talked about, from Makakilo, Honokai Hale, all the way to Waianae. You know, dust is in the air. Even when had the big storm, right, Roger? You remember, all the needles were washed out in the ocean. We got to take care of.
Yes, down by Kualina.
Amen, bro. And I know, I go dialysis. The needle's supposed to be incinerated and burned, you know. But yeah, we got to do more about it. But that's what's happening. Kelvin, you know anything that if the hemp would clean up this toxic stuff?
I mean, they have solutions like that, but I'm trying to imagine just like on Oahu. I grew up on Waipahu, so I know West Side. I know all this, right?
Yeah.
These areas, and just in my mind, I mean, who's going to plant it? I guess we have the manpower. I mean, if that's what it comes down to. But the other options to use kind of what they call bioremediate, right? Use plants, the plant's going to extract the material from the soil. There's options, but that's all got to be tested. These are not established practices. A landfill is what they say. The advance in the landfill industry is the liner. And they've been dumping garbage. I mean, before they used to throw it straight in the ocean. Well, he's still doing it. So, I'm sorry, there's not a clear answer. I think it's a possibility, but you gotta weigh this out. How this is going to, who's gonna do it, who's gonna pay for it? It's all the same questions like any public project. And yeah, I get the concerns. It's basic. It's people's health are affected by these places. I'm surprised that like on the mainland, most landfills they're giving off gas, natural gas. That's just part of these materials degrade, they produce methane. So they have these methane control systems on, a typical mainland landfill, but I've never seen that in Hawaii. And don't tell me the garbage in Hawaii is different from the garbage over here in so-called modern times. So there's a lot of questions, right? That's where we are.
Do we want to create a committee specifically for this and then create a voting process so that you basically take a certain number of voices and votes to them formally, and we document, this is a concern and this is a recommendation to solve the concern. So it's not just we're coming at it with the problem, but we come at it with a solution as well. And because these are lives and people, and we've all seen people that have life and death issues with these types of topics. They're very big. But Charles, go ahead and speak there. But this type of thing should probably have its own council, and that's the beautiful part of this type of technologies. Are we can literally go through and say, hey, we want to make this, for instance, this landfill discussion, we want to actually make this not just a to be determined, but we want to make it a motion. We want to have, let's say we want to have 100 votes, and then we can basically go through and look at, so if you notice right now, this particular thing with this landfill discussion that Don was going to lead, I don't know if he's on now. It looks like he may be coming up and down, but I'm going to refresh this screen and you can see that now we basically have, let's see here. It'll go through a voting process where we can actually push a vote, so to speak. And what I'm driving at is we can create other councils that can actually manage these types of disasters or cleanups or, but the goal is to have systems that can actually be accountable. We come up with the right question, we come up with an answer, and then we come up with the people's vote. And then we actionize whether it's the current system, which the current folks are with the county, with the state, or we have service providers that are engaged to actually provide alternative services versus the county or the state. Does this all make sense to everyone?
Yep. Yes.
So
Yeah, you definitely need more minds.
yeah. Yeah.
For those that might be able to do this, I apologize. I have to leave shortly to go play big Christmas stuff for my church. But in this Clear Signal chat with Hawaiian Kingdom, I apologize, Clear Hawaiian Kingdom. There's two things in there. One was for myself, for a company called Manager that supposedly can take the pilau out of the toxins and stuff like that. That's one company. And then Mike had another proposal down there below. So anybody that knows I don't know how to read this stuff. So anybody that knows how to read through an SDS sheet can look at the one that I put up there, or that, Don Kaulia put up there, which I sent to him. But that's one option, to take the pilau out of the soil, if it works. I don't know enough about that, and I'm no scientist, and I'm not going to pretend to be one. But that being said, Mike had something else from I think Utah. He said that he knows of as well. But that being said, I apologize. I don't know if they want me to play Santa Claus or what. But anyway, I got a headache.
Is that what you're doing? Is you're playing Santa Claus? That's awesome. Yeah. So what?
Nah, I'm losing weight, bro. I don't get to play Santa Claus anymore.
So what? Well, you have a wonderful time doing that. What Charles is talking about is where I'm from in Utah. It's a county called Utah County, and it actually used to have a big steel plant there. Geneva was the steel plant. So you can kind of see this U.S. steel plant. And it was, I'm talking massive, massive facilities, a 700-acre master plan now that's going in. That's actually it's an amazing type of city that they're building. The goal is to turn it into a city that also protects people's privacy. So it's not a smart city that actually profiles people, but it's actually a city where you can still have privacy and autonomy in this digital ecosystem. So we're working hard within the Utah legislature to be able to mandate that. But the point is these guys actually used some biotype feedback that used microorganisms to actually regenerate the soil locally. Now, people would say, well, did it really work? Because it's actually physically located right by the biggest lake in that county and area. So, but there's something that can be learned by that instead of just moving it into water areas, kind of like what they're proposing with some of this other stuff that they're doing within these mapping areas. But I think the point is we need to create a council that would actually focus in on these types of disasters or recoveries, or maybe it's a health council. But that would be my recommendation is you literally have, it's not just a committee, but it's a council that's focused around health that then actually grabs a certain quantity of votes that then allows for people to be accountable for decisions. So if you go to the county and you say, you know, this is what we recommend, and they just fall on deaf ears, it's just another area of, and I guess you don't need it. I mean, there's a whole nother level of maybe you just say, hey, instead of those funds going this way, we want to fix it this way. But it's up to you to come up with the problem statement and the answer statement. But the key is, can we actually come together and take some accountability on these topics, even though, you know, there's an investigation on how, why, what, you know, all the details around that, which is a deeper conversation. But the key is transparency and honesty. And the more we talk about it, the more we measure it, the more that it can be improved, or at least understood. So.
Yes, amen, Michael, because like say like an oversight committee on every island.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oversight committee on every island.
Maybe like
even
a land management committee on every island.
Yeah. To make sure things is done the proper way. Because even where I used to live in Cuneo, right across the street was Monsanto, you know, and we know how bad that is.
Yeah, I personally went to Monsanto's on Molokai and asked them, what is it you guys do here? Only to have them talk about how they can make plants sterile and take away that reality, and then see what's happening with the attack on fertility and humanity. And, you know, they're doing what they did with plants with humans now, which is a different conversation, but it's happening all through the islands. Another topic that I personally am very concerned about is the mosquitoes, you know, but that's the same kind of oversight committee topic that you're mentioning, Earl. So, well, any motions for a particular name of the council? And then what I can do is take a task to have it live by the next time we have a meeting as a general council. Or at least to take a vote on it, if you'd like to do that as well.
Michael, I can share something. If we, I'm not trying to sound negative or anything, but if we're limited with the amount of people that we have and have too many committees, we don't want to burn out the little group of people that we already have by creating more committees, and that's more time spread out. You think that's a little premature for us to? I know it's very important to do that.
Well, I actually think
but we need more hands.
Your guidance is spot on, and so maybe what we do is we do exactly that. We stay tight and focused as a general council, and we bring these topics into the general council just like we did, and we deliberate here, and we don't start another one. That's why councils can create and remove councils. So to your point, so if that's where people want to end up, we go there. Does everybody just want to deal with this here in this council?
I agree that it's premature to be creating another council, but I'm confused as to why this was even brought to us if we're not going to do something right now to prevent them from putting that junk in our INA. I'm totally confused. Why did this even come here if we're not going to do something about it?
I think you're spot on, and I think it was brought here because Don wanted to bring it up, but Don's not on the call anymore. So maybe what we can do is just leave it on the agenda for next week, we adjourn this meeting this week, and we'll go from there.
Hanale,
And maybe work on getting more information about it.
Hanale, and Kalani, can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we got you.
I can hear you.
Hanale, this is Sonny, Kalani, can you hear us?
I can
How's
hear
it?
you.
Yeah, because it's on Maui. We need to put together an oversight committee on every island, and people gotta keep tabs on what's happening, because, we don't know, we don't want, I guess, boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
I think Colony should be addressed either in the first way. Either one can facilitate whatever. But I just saw you. So I don't want to prematurely respond where he should be the one to respond.
So what I'm hearing is an oversight committee, not a council, but an oversight committee on each island be accountable to be the eyes and ears for this general council. And then based upon what Lonakia said, if we're going to talk about it, we need to do something, whether that's saying we're not going to do anything, or we need to actually come up with some type of we need this data, we need this timeline, and we need to act based upon this. Otherwise, it's like analysis paralysis and nothing gets done, which is an answer. You're not doing anything, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
with that being said, could we make a motion to create an oversight committee or for each island? It sounds like there's already been a structure with that in place. Maybe we just connect up with Don, because I think Don really needs to be involved in this conversation. He was the one that wanted to have it. Now he's not on the call. So maybe we just adjourn this meeting. We bring this to the table next week, same time, same topics, but hopefully we have more intelligence on what's going on. And there's already team members on the ground in these areas. Maybe we could just have people do their best to be eyes and ears and report back what they're seeing and hearing. Maybe even going out to the site, pulling up to some of the people on tractors and saying, "What is this? Why are you doing this? Who's paying you? Where's this from?" And we just get some answers before people start getting sick. Not only people, fish, life, environments. I mean, we're humans. All we have to do is just live on this earth and not ruin it.
Amen.
So
Yes. Kalani is their go-to guy.
okay.
He's the Aimoku.
So Kalani is on the call. Maybe he's okay. Well, let's go ahead and adjourn this meeting then. We've had a good, I think it's been a good initial meeting. I think there's a lot of stuff we haven't done that we can do. But we'll push to have Kamano on next, and actually Lonakia, you can drive the amendment topics, and then the aliens topics Kamanu's can drive. And then there's other topics, that people may want to add to it. Some of the things that were recommendations was bonds, currencies, oversights, styles. There's different things that we need to actually accomplish. I feel like this has been a good introduction meeting for some new members, but at the same time, when you get more people, your speed also slows down because trust is in question. But when trust is high, speed is usually really fast and costs are really low. And so let's try and keep streamlined, and as it's just going to get more momentum to it once people start understanding the capabilities technologically behind this and how the kingdom can actually be very efficient. And I believe if we backed up 126 years ago and this type of technology was available, this is the type of thing that would be utilized and leveraged. But anyways, I'll stop blabbing. But any other thoughts or closing comments or feedback that anyone might have?
Oh, aloha.
Yeah.
That was a great meeting.
Aloha. Thank you for joining. It's been wonderful just to get to know people. Do we want to have a closing prayer? And if so, anybody would like to offer to say it?
Well, like I said, all right. Mahalo ke akua for all his aloha and all his ambani's ha to move forward. Polo more. So, mahalo papa and mama for all his blessings every day. So nice meeting all you people. And all right. Aloha from Moa Keave, Kau. Amen.
Thank you, Uncle Earl. Aloha.
Amen.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Bye.
Nice meeting you
Aloha.
guys.
Aloha.
Thank you, guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.